Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, May 26th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. So very, very nice finish to the week for the bulls. We only close up about $1.50 in the S&P. But more importantly, the daily is now up again. We have a very good chance with 2 trading days to go for an outside month up. We almost had we had an attempt at an outside week up in SPY today, but failed. ES didn't even get Monday's high, let alone last week's high. So we're in balance on the weekly. We're going to go over all these charts. NQ, very visual area that NQ just closed above. We'll talk about that. I'm thrilled. I had my best week in the futures 3 weeks ago, I think. Well, I beat it this week. Put 62 points on the board today, 174 for the week. So I'm really happy. And I'm a single and doubles hitter. Now, I don't know if that would mean I would make more if I held them longer or if I traded less, but I'm thrilled with what I did. It doesn't matter. I was on both sides of the market today. I took a short in A period early. Well, first, before we do that, let's just see how the other ones. And then we'll go over my trading. So NQ goes out with a triple distribution day, okay, and a very visual close, which we'll get to. Now, yes, it is a P shape, and we see a lot of that, and then emotional trading gets taken back. But we're doing some really good things on the charts for NQ. So we'll see if they do get a pullback. It should be worth a buy. Righty ends 8 wide with an afternoon pullback in J. We end with a double distribution day. We had a chance for a triple distribution day, but L took it back. 8 wide and an afternoon pullback in J. So in A period, I told the room, look, if we get yesterday's, if we get the overnight high, right, then you're gonna have any push up will be the overnight high, yesterday's high, and that afternoon rally high in J from the 23rd. And that's what we did. And I actually took a short against that the first time, okay? As we pushed up and it came in, I made 13.5 points when it pulled back. Then when it pulled back, I took a long and made 3 points on that. When it pushed up again in A to a very visual area, which was where change took place on the 23rd, I took another short, made 4 points on that. So the market, even though it was going pretty good, was stopping at visual areas. After that, I took a long in B period, the old ebb and flow trade, because the market was telling us that. And by the way, we have a lowest accepted price. That's where A closes, B opens. It only pulled back about 12, 14 cents and then ripped up and went trend. That's a very telltale sign when it doesn't get much of a pullback and then goes. So I was long in B against that with the ebb and flow for 7.5 points. I was long in C with the single prints and again, going for the IB high right away and the ebb and flow. 8.5 points on longs. Actually took a small short and only held it for 1 point in C at its high, but I would have made more, not at its high, but I would have made more, but I'm like, I really shouldn't be looking for shorts there. I longed D against the single prints, made money. Longed E, same thing. Now in F, I took the short because I didn't think we were going to go triple distribution yet. We really weren't getting a lot of tempo. Made F 4 points off of that. And then H through L looked for longs on pullbacks and made all kind of money on that. So, little points that added up. We added up to 62 points on the day. And again, my best week by about 20, I made 150 points, I think, on that other week 3 weeks ago. So took that out and made 174. As far as destinations go, for the upside in SPY, today's high is now a weekly high of 420.77, and we still have the gap from last August at 421.22. So that's the second time we got into it and didn't fill it. ES filled it the first time. Then we have 422.94, 9 wide from last August 19th. 423.70 from August 19th. And then 425.27 daily high and filling another small gap at 425.50 from August 19th. I won't repeat those again. On the downside, we have 4 downside destinations from today. Afternoon pullback in J of 419.05. Single prints, 418.27 to 417.41. B's lowest accepted price of 416.88, and today's low of 415.25. ES upside 21.25, today's high. 21.75 is Monday's weekly high, and then you have 25.75, which was last week's high, and it's a poor high. For the downside, we have today's afternoon pullback in J of 04. Single print start at 95.75 to 87.50. Lowest accepted price, B's low of 82.25, and today's low of 65.50. Now, let's get to the charts. So we'll start with Russell. So Russell's in a yearly, it's over a year now, I think, right? May of last year. Yeah, this is the 13th month of balance for the monthly. It really is amazing. Now we're above that August of 2018 high by about $2.50. So again, that's okay, but this is just firmly balanced for them. They have a chance, for an outside month up also. 179.78. So we'll see by next, when is the month end? Wednesday. By Wednesday's close, is that at least something positive? Even if it is an outside month up, I can't really, pop the champagne because we're still way below the balance high. But maybe it means we'll go towards the balance high, which is all the way up at 202. So a 13-month balance on the monthly. Weekly balance. It stretched the weekly high, right? The weekly balance by 70-something cents, but I really can't call the weekly up. Even though it's one time framing up for 2 weeks out of an inside week, they're like an earth mover. They are so slow. They're like a sloth. It's just crazy how long it takes IWM to get going. If you look, I have no problem if you want to call it up. You certainly can. But because they have such trouble, all I'm saying is they stretch the balance. Now, if we take out this week's high next week, certainly we'll be up. But for now, balance. And look at that indecision candle. So monthly is a 13-month balance, and the weekly is an 11-week balance where they stretched it to the upside. Daily balance, 3-day balance. They never took out Tuesday's high the way ES and NQ did. Not only didn't they take it out, they still have the gap from Wednesday. So here we are, 3 time frames, 3 all in balance. Let's go to the powerhouse. Look at Triple Q. Triple Q is up in the monthly, one time framing up for 2 months after an outside month up. They blew through August high. ES and SPY haven't even sniffed August high. They blew through August high. Their next destination, my friends, is April of last year's high. So that's still another $20-something higher. Up in the monthly. Weekly, up. Now, this is what I was telling the room earlier today. We're closing above April 18th of last year's high. Why is that important? Because last year, we had nothing but lower lows. Remember, we didn't make an all-time high in 22 in NQ. Only ES did. But look what they did. But they did have a succession of lower highs like we did all last year after we made one. So this week is very important because after making a low on the year and then rallying, not only did they give it up, they had an outside week down that week, and then look what happened. New low on the year, lower high. New low on the year, lower high. Well, finally, we just took out that weekly high from April of last year. Now the next destination is April's high, which is 369.31. Now again, would it be healthy to pull back somewhat? Sure. But just look at this before you think it's all over for the bulls. You came out of balance here, bull, back to balance, bull. Now it would be healthy to get some kind of balance and then roll and then go back to bull to maybe get April's high. But for now, the monthly and weekly are both firmly up. So when you see people on Twitter and other social media platforms saying, this can't go any higher, well, guess what? It could. And then on the daily, remember, I showed you that yesterday. I said the daily was only in balance with that gap. I said if it takes out today's high, we're firmly up. Well, guess what, fans? We're up. So all three time frames are healthy in the NQ and triple Q. Can it pull back? Of course, anything can happen. Would it be healthier to pull back? Yes, it would. Come back into balance again at some point, trade sideways, and then go for April's high and more higher highs. But don't discount and say this market can't go higher. Just remember, this is important. They had a large balance here on the weekly. On the daily, right? Came out of it bare. Look at that. We came out of a 12, 13-day balance bare. Then we had an inside day and went back to, so you can call that balance, and then went back to balance firmly on April 27th. Went bull, came back into balance again, but never made a new low, and then came out of this balance again, bull slightly, back to balance, bull, balance, and then finally exploded, back to balance, came out bear for a day, balance, and up. So every time this market this year in the NQ, since their lows of the year, okay, in March, any pullback, right? Here's your low for the year. Any pullback in late March, bought. Pullback in late April, bought. Hey, you see a theme here? Pullback in late May, bought. So since the low of the year, we've had pullbacks late in each month, and each one has been bought up, and this one was bought up and exploded. So again, I'm not saying it can't come in, but people who just bang on the drum saying, this is absurd, ridiculous, well, guess what? It's not. And these charts are proving that to you to show you how healthy they are for now. So all three time frames are up for them. Now let's go to us. I know it's a little bit longer, but I think this is really important for you guys and gals to understand how a market works and not just listen to people scream and yell, on Twitter and Instagram and anywhere else. We have 2 days to go in this month. We have a chance for an outside month up and an outside month down. If we have an outside month down, that would mean we had a cataclysmic Tuesday and Wednesday trading. Is that possible? Guess what? Sure it is. You have the debt ceiling bullshit that's supposed to be resolved by Thursday. Anything stupid comes out of the weekend that they're not going to come to a deal. You know how these algos change, so you never know. Right now we have better odds of an outside month up, but don't ever discount anything, okay? So the monthly is balanced. We did get February's high. We closed finally above February's high, but we're still nowhere near August high from last year. We're still $11 away from that, $12 away from that. So the monthly is balance. Weekly, balance. We just missed an outside week up in SPY, okay? So we're in a 3-week balance. Do we come out of that balance bull or do we come out of it bear? Remains to be seen. So balance, see how different we are from NQ? They're all up. We're balanced on these two. And then the daily is up. We took out, remember I said I was using a 3-day balance. Now some people might even still say we're in balance because even though we took out the 19th high, right? We only took it out by, what did we take it out by? Not by a lot. 5 cents. So again, I'm giving the bulls their due and calling it up because I called it a 3-day balance. But if you want to call this a 7-day balance, more than welcome to. Okay? More than welcome to. I would like to see more confirmation next week and take out next week's high because, number one, if we take it out, then the weekly would go from balance to up, and the daily would clearly be up if we take this out. So what could propel this and what could derail it? Okay. Well, you have the debt ceiling stuff that I talked about. That's supposed to be a deal supposed to be struck by June 1st. We have the end of the month, but that should not be a factor at all. And then we have non-farm payroll on Tuesday. So again, as all the Fed heads like to say, they keep putting all that data into their little computer brains for when they meet in the middle of June. So again, any number that's out of whack there could, one of two things. It could propel us up on the monthly. Think about it. We have a lot at stake in ES and SPY. Depending on where we close a week from today, we could have all three time frames up in the monthly, weekly, and daily, and have an outside month up maybe, right? Or if something silly happens with the debt ceiling that doesn't get resolved, and then the job numbers are not favorable for the market, we could have the total opposite. Everything's on the table. Anyway, look, what I do in my trading room, it's not about my trading. It's about reading the market for all the traders in my room. I think I do that very well. Okay? Regardless of my trading, I think I do that very well. Today was a very, very accommodating day. The market spoke to us all day, okay, and gave us really good visual reads. That's what we're all about. Again, I don't know why I have so many subscribers and I only get 100 views on these, and more importantly, don't get people who aren't in my room to come sign up and see what we're about for $30 freaking dollars. So how about you do that this weekend? Give yourself a little gift over the weekend. Don't forget to keep all our vets in your memory who fought for this country, right? We wouldn't be as great as we are without that. Have a great, safe weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Tuesday.